Pugh. That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Well, good afternoon, Bournemouth fans. When Philip Billing scores, Bournemouth win the game. The final score from Ewood Park today was Blackburn Rovers 0, AFC Bournemouth 2. On the previous show against Middlesbrough, we said that Bournemouth tend to play in thirds. A good start, a poor middle, and then a decent end. Today, well, it was exactly the same, really. And, we did stop at the end for a bit as well. We conceded a penalty, but it was saved. And then Steve Cook cleared off the line. Maybe, just maybe, that's the fight that we want to see. That kind of fist in the air type moment that we had after beating Watford. Football, bloody hell. We're going to get your messages throughout on the screen. And if you want to take part, you can certainly do so. The link is at the very top. It's afcbpodcast.com/take part. You can get in. There's room for you right away. We got Robert and Gareth who are waiting. But if you want to take part, we've also posted the message in StreamYard chat as well. So let's be fair. When I said we were good in the first part and not so much in the middle part, when I say good, it's probably pushing it a little bit. We simply managed to be clinical when it mattered. In the first half, it was the goal machine, Phil Bill, that turned up. And in the second, it was Champions League ready Arnau Danjuma with the goal. For a large part, we weren't actually particularly great, but we did what we had to do. We emerged with 3 points, and just as well, given the results from the teams above us. But hey, Swansea dropped points. That can't be bad. So what do you think? Let us know. There's space in the room right away. And the first person we're going to bring in is actually Robert from AFCB Latvia, who is with us now. Robert, how are you, sir? You all right?
I am fantastic, actually. What a game. I mean, we weren't really playing good, if you ask me, but at least we got those 3 points that we really, really needed. The game was actually pretty fun, if you ask me, but not as a Bournemouth fan, because, Blackburn attacked really, really good. They tried to score, and the last minute, not really the last minutes, but one of the last minutes penalties. Begovic saved it. I actually didn't saw it because I ended the stream, and that was a pretty good game. I really hope it will get in a prem really, really soon, because we are playing actually good. Like, we are not playing good as like attacking, but we are playing good. We can secure 3 points if we really, really want. So about the game. Game was it wasn't boring. Begovic was actually insane in goal. What a guy. He's actually insane. Philip Billing just scoring goals like it's nothing. The guy's just banging in. Like you can see my name, Solanke the GOAT. He is the GOAT. What a guy. What a guy. He's scoring, he's assisting, he's passing, he's trying to get us in a prem. The guy, he was sold for 20 million from Liverpool. Maybe the guy wants to score against Liverpool. Maybe that's why he's signed. Maybe that's why he's trying so good. I don't know. The guy is insane. The team is actually, like, I can see the motivation now, because like it was, I think, January or February, and the team wasn't the team wasn't motivated. We played like, I don't know, it felt a bit boring and pretty sad. But now we are like, we need to win the next game. And we are getting in like top 5. No, actually, we need to win 2 games. I think we play against Norwich and Coventry City. I think the next game is against Norwich, if I'm not wrong. Like, we need to secure those points, because we need to get points against Norwich. I mean, they are a really, really good side this season. They have been insane. But, I mean, everything can happen. everything. Really, really ugly game. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't an ugly win. I mean, that was a really ugly game. Like
Yeah,
it
that's right.
wasn't.
I don't
Yeah,
think it was the prettiest of games, and a lot of people are saying, I mean, AFCB, John, let's go through a few of your comments. Dan is waiting. We'll bring in Dan ever so shortly. Everyone was underwhelming today, apart from Begovic. 3 wins in a
yes,
row is massive, says Cameron. Only the second time we've done that this season, and we're playing Coventry next. That's on Saturday, so that's a chance to get 4 in a row. Pearson and Billing, great combination in midfield there. I thought Pearson did really well for our second goal there, almost pirouetted and then set up Arnaud Danjuma, just poked it to him, who made sure that we scored to make it 2-0. John goes on to say 3 points is 3 points, but come on, that was
yeah, of
so
course.
lackluster. Also, and as Kerry said, if you can, hit a like, we would really appreciate it. We're going to bring in Dan now. You can stay on the line. Robert, Dan is here with us. Dan, how are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, you?
Yeah, very good, Dan. And 2-0 to Bournemouth. How are you feeling after that? Oh, your mic seems to be muted at the moment. Just seems to be slight connectivity issues, mate. So you might just need to unmute your mic. I'll give you a second to sort that. But what I'll do is I'll bring in Aaron straight away because he is here ready to chat about what he's witnessed. So Aaron is here. Aaron, how are you, buddy? 2-0, not the prettiest of games, eh?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't pretty, and it was very tense until Arnie scored that second goal. Although we tried to make it difficult for ourselves in injury time. Again, the result was all important. Clean sheet, 2 goals. Blackburn, I didn't think were very good at all. We weren't great. Our passing at times was woeful. Just the simple things in the game, we just weren't doing well enough. But for me, a shout out to the 3 midfielders. I thought Billing and Pearson, especially, and Jeff were absolutely immense. All 3 of them. And they won us the game for me. I think Pearson was outstanding. He was even running, in the 93rd minute, trying to get everything. Billing again pops up with his goal. And again, work rate has just come from nowhere. And Jeff does what Jeff does. So at the moment, I'd struggle to find a better midfield 3 in the division. So they were great. Again, up front, Arnie does nothing and then comes alive and scores, which is what he does. And secures the game. Again, Brooksy had a great part in the first goal. But again, it's flatters to deceive, although give him some slack. He's coming back from an injury and illness. And Dom, Dom can't fault his work rate, but again, I say it every game, he's isolated, but we're finding ways to win games. So it's he is isolated and he's not getting players close enough to him, but we're winning, so can't have too many complaints.
Thank you very much to Ethan for the super chat. Just before we get on to him, nobody was bad. Collectively, we weren't brilliant, though. Just moments of class that won us the game. And Ethan, thanks very much for the super chat. A super chat helps to support the channel. Make sure you've got permission to do so, by the way. And also, it guarantees we'll read your message out. Now, with regards to, by the way, I'll just give Robert a closing comment because we will switch it up. Robert, before you go, any final words about that performance and which players should we 100% be taking into our next match against Coventry City, or should we go unchanged?
Of course, Philip Billing, Solanke, I guess, but the guy was actually average. I know I'm like joking. The guy is really, really good, but we have to take him on top. We should maybe save Jack still, maybe Lerma. Brooks Brooks was injured, so let's play Brooks, I guess Solanke, let's play Pearson. Actually, he's actually cracked. The guy is insane. And Philip Billing, no cap, those guys are so good, like for real.
Brilliant. Robert, thanks very much for coming on.
Bye.
Cheers, mate. We can see his face. Top man. Cheers for coming on, mate. Other Cherries, says Ethan, thank you very much. We're going to bring in AFCB John and also Alex as well. So AFCB John's here, Alex isn't here, but Filippo's here. Before we come on to you, John, I just want to make a point about Solanke because he looked fairly isolated today. Now, on one of our previous shows, and we actually showed some kind of a stat which showed players' average positions, and it showed that Danjuma wasn't offering much support on the left-hand side. So, Rico was getting exposed quite a lot because of it. Now, defensively, I thought that Danjuma was a lot better today. And Kelly on the left, he did have that support. But as a result, it meant that Dom Solanke looked so isolated. I've not seen him so isolated in a long time, Aaron.
Yeah. It was just, and then also the first half, especially, we were knocking long balls the whole time up to him, and they weren't sticking. And I'm not sure what the tactic was there. I mean, Surridge came on and actually looked really a real handful, and only had a 10-minute cameo. But I've discussed on this channel and on Kirk's channel before about the options we've got, obviously, to play Sam up with Dom, as we have done in numerous away games earlier in the season up north, actually, and we won them all quite comfortably. And no doubt then he would help Dom and be more of a presence, but then we would lose someone in the midfield. And as I said, those midfield three are playing so well, so I wouldn't necessarily change that. But it's a difficult one, because you're right, Arnie did put a big shift in today defensively. He was, for me, anonymous going forward until his great goal. But he put a shift in. So it's a difficult one. But I think they are relying on Phil Billing to get as very close to Dom as possible. But Phil was busting a gut all over the pitch and doing a lot of defensive work, which was needed. So it's difficult for Dom. It must be difficult for him. And there's a David Brooks was wandering around, also kind of a bit sort of going wherever he wanted to go. I'm not sure what his structure was, but it's difficult.
Yeah, it is. Steve Hensman, thanks so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Big 3 points today. Up the cherries in all departments. Thank you for supporting the channel. Steve, right, AFCB John is here. John, another 3 points, 3 wins in a row. It could be 4 against Coventry on Saturday. Happy days. But the performance, as you said on chat.
No. I am happy. Don't get me wrong. I am. I was watching it with Daniel on Discord because he couldn't properly see the game because he's sort of at school.
Oh, bless him.
So, obviously I got the match pass and he allowed to watch it with him as well, which was good for the lad. But, I know we can do so much better, and I feel as fans we can get a bit carried away sometimes. It's like, 3 points, yeah, we won. But I feel like now we should be seeing these players really gel, and we have done in other games. But just felt today that it was... Maybe it's just one of them. It's just we just win with, like somebody said in the comments, moments of the class that we had from Danjuma in particular. I think, it fell to Billing. We were lucky. So, I mean, another positive, obviously we winning, that's the main thing. But like, there's been other times where we've had loads of shots and we've not done anything. So, obviously today, we didn't have many shots, did we, in total? But we made good of what we did. So look, I am really happy. Just that was my initial reaction really to the game, was just we could have done so much more, and I felt it was a bit lazy and laboured at times. But
yeah, interesting. I mean, so someone's asked me this question that I'll put on screen, but I'll ask you instead, John. What did you think about today's lineup? Because it was Kelly who came in for Rico, Pearson for Wilshere, and David Brooks for Stan. Now, David Brooks, I thought, his contribution to the goal was great with the flick, but apart from that, you're sort of looking at, yes, there was that penalty claim that wasn't. It was a free kick at the end. It was a foul, but it was a free kick. But other than that, you're thinking, there was a great chance in the second half where he ran through at pace and he just needed to play a decent ball, overlap to his right. The ball was weak and frustrating player. And, it wasn't so long ago that he was a player rated at £40 million, but, I can't quite see that at the moment.
Well, I didn't have him in my starting 11, Sam, to be honest. I would have gone with a 4-3-3, sort of had like Kelly, I had Kelly, Cook, Carter Vickers and Smith right back. Then I would have chose like Pearson, Billing, Lerma. I would have had Danjuma, then Solanke, and I actually would have liked to have seen Stacey on the right wing from the start. I know that's quite controversial, but I think because I didn't get to see all the Borough game the other day, but he did play right wing for some of the Borough game, didn't he?
Yeah,
and obviously he did today, right. But I felt it was too late. I felt he came on too late for Brooks because I felt we we just sort of let Brooks hang in there for a bit too long, and he really wasn't doing much because he's been injured, isn't he? And he's not been well. So I wouldn't have started Brooks today. I like Brooks. I love him to bits, but I think Brooks needs more time again to get fit, and I would have preferred to see a more regular player.
So I think the issue with Brooks is that we know what a player he can be, and as you say, John,
yeah, exactly.
He's not. We need to get him to match fit because he could potentially win us the playoff if he gets up to speed. So we've got to try and give him minutes. And I would argue, I mean, say it's our strong. I would argue it's difficult not to put Stan in our strongest lineup, although his best position is not where he's being played.
Yeah, or Riquelme could have been an option there on right wing even. Again, Riquelme's shown very good moments of class for us, popping up with goals, or just moments like I can think against Swans. He was crucial in that goal for Danjuma that time, and he's very good with the build up to goals, kind of like Stacey is. I mean, Brooks is as well. I just feel I wouldn't like to see. I mean, I can't see the Coventry game. Unfortunately, I'm working, but I would hope Brooks isn't playing, or if he is, he comes on as a sub, and we see either Riquelme or Stacey there as in the starting 11. Yeah.
Okay, so Filippo in Italy, how are you, buddy? You all right?
Yeah, absolutely right. And not the funniest game we ever seen, but we did what we needed to do, and that is the 3 points, and also going on a run because we didn't won in this season more than 2 games in a row, so we needed to do, and we did. So it was a blocked game especially in the first half, but then we increased the chances and the quality of playing. David Brooks was back today, and he added quality to the playing. So when we found the opening goal, I think we also found confidence. We found confidence and carried on during the rest of the game, during the second half. We conceded a bit of chances to Blackburn, but then we started. Yeah, we kept playing confident, and also we had a very, very good defensive performance today. Even more than against Middlesbrough.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't feel people have picked up on how crucial that save from Begovic was on Elliott in the first half, because had that gone in, that would have made it 1-1, and I feel that could have either seen us go the other day, like against Borough, where we came back 3-1, or it could have seen us crumble, or even Blackburn turn it on us, because I felt all it would have taken was for Blackburn to get a goal in the game, and they could have easily have spun it round on us. And then obviously that moment of madness at the end with Begovic, and then Cookie saving it off the line, that was crazy. And I was toying with who was my man of the match the whole game, whether it was going to be Billing, because obviously he was involved in the first goal, or he took the shot, didn't he? And then it came off to Billing, and then obviously he scored the goal. But for me, Begovic cemented my man of the match at the end there, for sure.
So, I mean, thanks, Tom, for the super chat. Yes, I have had my haircut. It was a self-done jobby. However, appreciate that towards my next haircut. Really appreciate that, Teach. Thanks very much, mate. But Aaron, I'm sort of looking at a lot of players. I mean, we're all saying the midfield had a good game. Steve Cook did brilliant for his block off the line. Cameron Carter-Vickers had an excellent block, and we're praising a number of players here. And Brooks had a poor game. Solanke was isolated, but why were we so poor and just completely? I mean, there wasn't any cohesion, especially during that middle third of the game, even longer.
I'm just getting used to it. As I said, there's no doubt that we have defensively solidified partly because of Jonathan Woodgate coming in, I think has helped that. But I think Carter Vickers' form has been unbelievable. I think him and Cookie have been fantastic. I think Adam Smith coming back in has been great, and Lloyd Kelly has stepped up the last few games, obviously when he's been playing at left back. So solid, and I think we found a solid midfield with some creativity. I think it goes down. In answer to the question, I honestly think it comes down to the fact that we are playing one striker, and I think it's going to always be very difficult to be fluid when you have your creativity with Arnie and Brooks or Stan, whoever's playing in those wide positions, but they're not getting close enough to Dom. So the ball is not sticking up front, so it's invariably coming back and forward. And you're right, we are solid. We are winning games. We've scored 8 goals in the last 3 games and conceded 1 goal and 3 relatively tricky games. So it's difficult to knock it, but I know what you mean. We're just not fluid. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. Whether I'm not advocating changing formation, but a 4-4-2 would probably bring a bit more fluidity as long as those 2 midfielders can hold their own. Because then you've got wingers who know what their jobs are, and you've got 2 men in the middle who can play off each other and help each other out. I don't think we're going to change that because we found a winning formula. So we're going to have to accept the fact that Dom or Sam, whoever's playing on their own, is going to be isolated, and it's not going to be free flowing. But it is tricky because we've got the players to do it. But it's something we haven't seen at all much this season.
Aaron, do you think we should try 4-4-2 again in that case, or to get him involved, or is that too late in the season now to do that?
Yeah, I wouldn't change it now. I think we've found a winning formula. I mean, realistic. Ever since Jonathan Woodgate came in, the only games we've lost are when he played a 5 at the back for some weird reason. I
was just thinking more like on your point of saying getting Solanke more.
Well, there's no
so he's not as isolated. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in our system, the only way we would potentially play a 2 up front is to go back to the 3-5-2 because that will enable Arnie to stay in the team. If you go to a 4-4-2,
Arnie's not as effective. Yeah,
you can play him on the left, but then you're going to lose Billing because Billing can't play in a 2, and you're not going to leave Billing out of the team at the moment. So it's kind of it's a difficult one because I have no doubt that with Sam up front with Dom, those 2 would flourish, and they would probably get good service as well. Against Coventry, you might be able to get away with it. Something like home to Coventry, it might well be the way to go. But I just don't think he's going to change it now. And I think he's probably right not to.
Yeah, brilliant. Aaron, thanks for coming on today. Really appreciate your input.
Thanks a lot,
Aaron.
guys.
See you again. Take care, mate.
Take care, guys.
Cheers, buddy. And also thanks to AFCB John. Really appreciate it, mate.
Cheers. Look, I didn't want to come across really negative because I'm not. I just couldn't help but pick out the kind of lackluster under par bits as well, but we did the job, and three wins in the league on the row now. So let's take this to Coventry and smash them too.
Well done. Exactly. I think even nice one. Cheers, John. And even the eternal optimist, I don't think will be amazingly happy with the performance. Of course, we are the result and the outcome by getting 3 points. But Filippo, who needs to be playing on Saturday against Coventry?
You know what? John said, Aaron said, I will keep this lineup because after trying, we found again the quality, and we keep playing like we did against Swansea. So we have to keep that quality playing. So. I will go with the same lineup. Would like to speak also of the results as well elsewhere, which haven't gone quite our way, except for Swansea. But Swansea is quite far still in the table. But we have still 1 game on hand on next Tuesday, and also we have a very important goal difference.
Yeah,
and if we keep increasing that, it's an important point because if we finish with the same points of both Reading and Barnsley, we have better goal difference. So it's really important.
Brilliant.
I believe that Jonathan Woodgate worked a lot on defense, and he's still working. And so let's keep it going. Let's keep the momentum. Maybe 4 points out of 6 would be good. But let's try to playing for 6 out of 6 in the next 2 games, and then the game at Carrow Road against Norwich, we'll see. I mean, only we'll see.
Maybe they'll be promoted by that point, Filippo. You never know. They might, they might be all hungover from the celebrations from the night before. You never know. Filippo, we got to switch it up.
They need only a few wins.
Yeah, exactly. So that could have happened by then. Thanks very much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Up the Cherries. Bye-bye.
Up the Cherries. And we'll just try to bring in Dan because he was on earlier just before we bring in Simon and Tom for a few comments. Sorry, the Wi-Fi went a bit weird there, Dan, but hopefully all is good. So just some, we can indeed. So just some thoughts on today's performance then from you, mate.
It wasn't the best game in the world, but it's 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. And who's your man of the match today?
Probably Pearson. I thought he was standing. I loved his ankles at the end. They must be very badly bruised.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Thank you.
At Swansea, I think Swansea. Yeah, cheers, mate. Cheers, mate.
Sorry, a bit of a funny connection. So it's like we're sort of talking at the same time and all that kind of stuff. Someone with a good connections. Hopefully, this guy. All right, Simon.
How you doing?
Yeah. Where's that note? Have you got it?
I actually left the room specifically to get it.
There it is.
See,
that's what we're talking about.
Loving
your work.
It's just sticking around, and he's sticking around, and he keeps doing it. So. I had to go find him though. He was just, stuck under a plate or something. But anyway, there you go.
Absolutely brilliant. We got Tej as well here. Tom, you right?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good.
Talking Cherries reunion, and you know what? It's we're just looking at the league table. In fact, what we'll do is we'll bring it up on screen now so we can all have a lookie of where we're looking at. So AFC Bournemouth, look, we're in 7th place. We've got a game in hand over the teams above us, and winning that game in hand would propel us into 5th. But yeah, Swansea, look at that, 3 losses in a row. Brentford, 3 draws. I mean, these are teams that we could possibly catch up. I mean, look, we could even finish the season in 3rd, which is mad. It's just a shame we didn't do all this a little bit earlier. But in a way, Tom, he's actually gone. We'll get it. So,
you have to put with me instead.
Yeah, let's say I think it is his webcam's temporarily become disconnected. In a way, though, is it not a good thing to still be outside the playoffs, to have a target and still have some momentum? Because sometimes I fear that if we do sit in 6th or we got into 5th, we'd probably get a bit complacent, like we started to sort of towards the end of Jason Tyndall's reign.
Yeah, and I actually, having listened to most of the free-for-all post the game, I think it's slightly a little bit too downbeat, to be fair, because it wasn't long ago that we might have lost games like that or drawn or various different things like that. It wasn't many games ago that we were saying, where's the camaraderie in the team? Where's the attitude? Where's the collective intent, etc., etc. So from where we were to where we are now in these types of games away from home, it's not amazing football, but it's solid, it works, and we're winning. So I'm actually ecstatic. And to answer your point, as you go into the playoffs, you want to make sure that you've got a progressive move in the right direction. It's not all going to happen straight away, but we are making the right steps in all areas. Structure, solidity, defensive intent, things are missing, but it's the best place to be. I agree with you. If we were in 3rd and we were like Swansea or someone, I'd be worried, but momentum is massive. And so many times in the past, in the playoffs, the team that gets momentum and starts to pick up its path and does more of the right stuff, we look like that team. So I'm feeling pretty good about the forward momentum from where we were.
Yeah, I agree. And I always sort of think it's better to do the chasing and be looking at the teams that are within our sights. It reminds me of my school 800 metres once, where I was in second for pretty much all of it bar the last 200 metres. And then for that last 200 metres, I put in a right on shift and I won it. And I'm not even that quickest, but I just had some kind of focus. We're going to bring in Tiggs as well here. Evening, Tiggs. But Tom, welcome back.
Thank you.
And
I tried to move my laptop and the webcam didn't like it.
Yeah, all right, mate. So anyway, thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, buzzing, mate. Yeah, it wasn't
Who's putting
pretty.
these chats on screen, by the way? Because I'm not. Is this you, Tiggs?
It's me.
Oh my God. Dual control here. I
You gave me a little bit of power. I'm sorry.
It wasn't liquid. It wasn't brilliant to watch, but been saying for a while now that I can handle it if we're not playing beautiful football. But you see that nasty side of it, that horrible side of that fight and that desire and that the basics. And there was too many times this season where we just haven't been doing that. We haven't been very good off the ball, and that's different. You saw that right at the end. We save a penalty, clear one off the line. That, and we're 2-0 up at that point. That's a team that want to keep a clean sheet, and I felt it for a long time. We didn't look like a team that wanted it, and you even saw today with Dan Juma, working back. We're criticising him that he's not been helping the left back. I thought he'd done that today, worked hard. The amount of times he was back there clearing and stuff like that, and that's what I want to see now. Is like Simon said as well. You go into them playoffs. It doesn't matter about the season; it's how you go into them. And if we go into the playoffs, on form like this, then you'd be more fearful of playing us than you would say Swansea. It's all about that. It's a clean sheet as well. We can see the one City goal against Middlesbrough, but really we've looked pretty. As much as we weren't very good today, they never really looked like they were going to score, in my opinion. I thought we looked pretty sturdy, and Ben Pearson was a big part of that, in my opinion. Brilliant, him and Lerma. And I think going forward, the away games it'll really suit having Pearson and Lerma, and maybe the home games go with Wilshere over Pearson. But when you're expected to dominate the ball a little bit more, but. Yeah, listen, we got the job done, and if we'd said before the Easter weekend, 3-1 and 2-0 against Borough and Blackburn, it's very good. So, got to take the positives and kick on from that now, because on paper we got a couple of nicer games now. I know it doesn't always work like that, but we'll see.
Yeah, now Tiggs, can we, if we were at the stadiums, would we realistically be able to sing "We score when we want, we score when we want"? Because it doesn't feel like that. Because when we do, you go 1-0 up. What is it? But we just seem to consolidate and we sit back. Do you think that's in the philosophy that Woodgate's instilling? Because it's not like we're pushing on for another straight away, at least anyway.
It does feel that way, doesn't it? It does feel like, because we keep doing the same thing over and over again, there must be some kind of instruction or at least encouragement from doing that. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I suppose we're so far away now, and it's taken its time from that Eddie Howe, way of doing things, that it's difficult to get used to something else. So I do feel that maybe we get our goal and then, steady the ship. But is it safe to steady the ship? I don't think it really is.
I think it's a confidence thing as well. I think when you're a bit low on confidence, like we've been for a long time now, kind of since the turn of the year, you get that goal and it's just that thing inside you subconsciously that's a little bit like, we've got the win now if we don't concede. And I think they just start retreating as soon as we get the goal. But yeah, it's when you're a confident team and you get that first goal, you just kick on, don't you, and try and get the second. And fortunately, we did that today. But it does. It seems like it's just cardboard copy every game, doesn't it? Get the goal and then just look a little bit shaky for a while and try and hang on. But we're certainly not a team that is really suited to hanging on. But sometimes needs must when you're not confident, I guess. And it's just trying to make sure we get over the line. And it was a clean sheet today, so.
I think that's coming. I mean, I'm looking at the gradual change and the gradual build-up, and obviously you've got to look at where, again, I'm going back in essence to go forward, and where we've been, both in terms of structure, personnel, all sorts of different things, defensive structure, whatever you want to call it. We've looked a lot more messy in many other games against opposition like this than we have in recent games. So that's a huge tick, because in order to be able to put your foot down when you're 1-0 down and go for more gas and go for 2 or go for 3, you've got to be confident in your structure in the back six, if I can put it that way. And that is getting a lot better. You watch the games, we haven't got the forward momentum, but I'm less concerned, even though we have this hiatus moment after half time still. But it's better. So we've got 7 games left. Keep this, keep the solidity, and then you'll have more confidence when you go forward. So I'm very hopeful that will come. So I'm very positive. I don't want to be too over positive because certain things still exist. But I like where we are for where we want to get to, and also in comparison to what the other opponents we may face are doing.
Also, it seems to be that when we do concede that goal, we still got another gear to go to try and get one back. We haven't seen us concede a goal, then concede another goal, have we? So, for a long time. So it's at least there's always that.
I think Tim Sherwood was quoted as saying that in the media that we are playing within ourselves, and I think that pretty much backs up what you say there, Tiggs.
Yeah. I very rarely agree with Tim Sherwood as well, but that's all Tiggs. But no, that sounds pretty bang on, to be fair. Like I mentioned with the confidence thing, but I think despite obviously he saved a penalty today, I think if you think of the last few games, the amount of times early in the season we were going, God, imagine if we didn't have Begovic. And I appreciate he saved a penalty. But that aside, in the game on the whole, in the last few, he hasn't had to make quite as many game-saving saves, if you know what I mean. And I think, Carter Vickers has been a big part of that as well, and getting that balanced and organised back four, and then the shield in front of them, etc. So there's little things in there that's started to tick. And you've got to remember, from Woodgate's point of view, he hasn't had a lot of time. He's just been thrown into this. And as we've alluded to before, massive credit for what he's done with Phil Billing as well, because he's been his player of the season, hasn't he? I mean, he's just... I've never seen someone be that good in the number 10. There's the note. And so important, he's a little bit deeper.
Let's see it again. Come on.
You want to see it again? Do you know, if anyone ever... If we were to get to Wembley and some fans were going, and if I didn't go, someone needs to take this with them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Tom, like you say with Billing, I think pre-Woodgate, he scored 4 in 57. Under Woodgate, 5 in 13. Unbelievable stats.
It's mad, isn't it? Like saying about confidence stuff, he's one that's playing with confidence. And it just seems to be that sort of player that needs a bit of a license to roam and not be too kind of bedded down into a structure and you've got to sit and do this. He seems like, I know Huddersfield fans often said he was a luxury player when they're in the relegation scrap. And I can see that because he's a sort of player you just kind of got to let him off the leash and just kind of wander and do what he needs to do. And when he does that and when he's playing with confidence, he's a hell of a player. And he's getting someone close to Solanke again. And that was allowing Dan Juma to kind of help Kelly out a little bit more today, because that Billing's up there as well. We're normally relying on Dan Juma being the only one. But it's great to see Billing doing that. I mean, we're all eating our words, aren't we? But apart from Heather, who's always loved him, but most of us, it's really nice to see. I never thought at the start of the season that Billing he's probably going to be up there for player of the season if he keeps this up, which is just mad, but credit to him.
One other thing I want to just, before I probably get shifted off for somebody else to come on, as I can see in the chat, which is all good, I know how it works, is the togetherness or the attitude of the players. When we score a goal, that's improved. Again, it was another criticism that many of us would see in games gone by, even when we scored a goal. It felt a bit weird. But there now really does seem that there's a togetherness or attitude or growing cohesiveness in the unit. And I think that was one of the biggest criticisms that I felt watching us, is that it felt incredibly lackadaisical. Whereas now when a goal goes in or something is really good on the pitch, you can see other players really loving the moment and backing each other. And that's also very important for momentum. So I just wanted to add that in before I ta-ta.
And before we do switch up, though, because we got Kirk, we got Morgan, and we got John waiting to come on. Can we just talk about set pieces? I mean, that first 60 seconds or first 2 minutes, what the hell? First corner didn't clear the first man. Second corner cleared everyone. What happened, Tom?
I don't know what we're doing with set pieces. They're just all over the place. I mean, I know we tried to get Matt Ritchie in January. God, I wish we got him just for that alone, because we just need someone to put. It's such that I feel so sorry for like Carter Vickers and Cookie. You see him coming up, bound up the pitch, and Steve Cook. I can't remember that. I'm pretty sure he scored in every season he's been with us, definitely in recent times anyway. I mean, he hadn't even got close this season, has he? Because he's good in the air, and Carter Vickers is good in the air, Lerma's good in the air, and we just don't give him anything. It is odd.
It was nice to see one of the old routines, though, the old dummy from Brooks, but then Phil Bill unfortunately put it over the top by about 50 yards.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see a little bit of variety coming back. But on set pieces in the Borough game, Jack Wilshere took a few of the corners, didn't he?
Yeah.
And his delivery was miles better than any other option that we've got. So that's the only tick that I can say with set pieces, apart from the fancy effort today.
I think we're saving it up for the playoff final. Playoff final, we're going to get a winner from a corner, Steve Cook header. That's going to be the winner against Watford.
Closing comments, Tiggs.
Against Watford.
Yeah, I'm hoping they might have to have a little bit of a bad run, but that's my dream, all right?
Just a bit.
Yeah. Tiggs. Final thoughts.
Well, we won a game, and I'm happy. And we got Coventry next. They won today, didn't they? So it won't be a walkover. It won't be a walkover. So I think that'll be a really exciting game for us to watch. I think when we played them last time, I think we beat them last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
They had a player sent off right near the end or something like that. I remember. So they'll want to get one over us. But hey, let's keep it going.
Absolutely.
Let's keep it going. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Tom, can we expect anything from you in the next 24 hours or so?
Yeah, I've got Keithy Thomas, the legend. He's going to come on with me, and we're going to go over like the double header of the bank holiday weekend because the games are so close, and just do a bit of a ratings on a bit of an average over the two games. So I'm going to do that shortly. Hopefully, get it up tonight or tomorrow. So yeah, looking forward to doing that with Keith.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, nice one. Cheers, Tom. Nice one.
Thank you, guys.
See you later. Yeah, I had a chat to Keithy T on the phone the other day, and really nice 20-minute chat or so. Top man, Tiggs, you're a top man as well. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, buddy.
By the
See you
way,
later.
well shared last night. I really enjoyed that show. You did, and the Celtic. I think it's got about 3,000 views across all platforms, and Celtic fans are loving that top 10 list. But then we also brought in the negatives as well. So they really appreciated it, and I really appreciated it as well. You did a fantastic job presenting, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate. I'll get back to my Easter eggs now.
Good. Enjoy. Cheers, mate. And thank you also to Simon K as well. Cheers, buddy.
Nice to see you again. Stay well.
Yeah, you too. Happy Easter. Cheers, mate. Right. The return. Again. What the hell's going on with your hair?
Yeah, I don't know. Boris has just announced that I can go for a haircut on Tuesday, so it's all good.
Oh, is that? Oh, my goodness. Thank God for that. Right. John's here as well. John Spark. You all right, John?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Nice to see you back, Sam. I was worried because I didn't see you on the podcast. I thought you might overdosed on chocolate Easter eggs, but thankfully you're back.
All good. And Kirk is here as well. You all right, Kirk? How you doing?
Yep, another win, another 3 points,
and another game for you to bring out that bloody stat about Dom Solanke. Eh?
It's getting boring now, isn't it?
When's it going to happen?
I'll tell you when it's going to happen. It's going to happen in the playoff semi-finals, home and away.
Tell you what. Now, John, you always bring out some stats and tweets that I love seeing, and you were looking at pass completion at half-time, weren't you?
Yeah, that was the sort of because I don't think anyone would be surprised at the fact that we really weren't on it in terms of our passing in this match. And by half time, I was thinking our pass completion rate must be shocking at this stage. But it was like 71, 72% at half time. By the end of the match, it was 62% pass completion rate. Our season average is 77%. That's a hell of a drop off. But I mean, it's not really a surprise to anyone here. Like, I haven't been able to keep across this because I was doing the sort of review show for Cherries Red Army with Kirk. But I'm guessing most people on here weren't throwing praise at Bournemouth's performance today, because you don't need to bring up stats to tell you that we weren't great today. The nice thing was control defensively, is that we really did look like we just kept them at arm's length. Apart from Adam Smith's lazy tackle for the penalty, they didn't really make too much. We didn't make all that much either, but defensively we have been very good recently. And offensively, I mentioned it in the last game. I'd just like to see us make more use of counterattacks. This was kind of the perfect game to really, especially going 1-0 up when out of pretty much nothing in the first half, we could have made a lot more from counter-attacks. We were just letting Blackburn come on to us. We didn't really need to pressure them too hard. Their passing wasn't amazing either, and just one or two opportunities here and there could have got us something. In the end, we kind of did counter-attack our way into a second goal-ish, but it was a bit of, it was pinball to get us the second goal with one brilliant pirouette from Pearson, and then Dan some more Danjuma magic to get the second goal. But it was, I would really rather than just sort of like ignore that performance in general, apart from the defensive display, and just say 3 points, 9 from 3 games. Let's move on to Coventry.
Morgan.
Sorry, can I come in? Because I'm kind of holding my phone up against like a jar of mayo.
Jar of mayo.
A bit of a studio rearranged today. But no, I just wanted to come in there. John, I understand what you're saying. It's not a good... Thanks, Sam, for me. A good little championship. It wasn't the best championship performance we're ever going to see compared to the 2014-15 season. But I think we got to remember 3 things. Bournemouth have won back-to-back games for the first time. I don't know, Kirk, have you got a statistic from the last time we did that this season?
What? Sorry, say again. How many games we've won?
No, so we won back-to-back
3 in a row,
games.
Morgan.
Have we done that? When was the last time we won back-to-back championship games this season?
We have done 2 games back to back, but we haven't done 3 since. We've only done that once this season, which was like in October. We got 3 victories in a row. I think it was in the run with Forest. So that's 3 wins in a row now, and that's the first time since the turn of the year.
So thanks for that. So we got 3 back to back, 3 wins in a row. Begovic made a save, which was it was a good save from the penalty that Smudge mucked up in the final few minutes, and then that goal line clearance by Steve Cook that's just come through as a notification while I'm talking with my from the line, which was remarkable, and it was a team performance. I think Simon's alluded to it earlier in the show. From what I caught of after Boris's announcement, I think it was a much better all-round AFC Bournemouth team performance. Okay, the football wasn't great. I think David Brooks gave the ball away in it, and same with Philip Bellin in quite a few times, 5-yard passes, and that's not good enough at this level. But it's just much better. And I talk about cup final. That was the cup final, and we won it. And now we go on to another one. We got 7 cup finals left, and if we win them, we got a good chance of being in that playoff semi-final. And potentially going back to the Premier League. And it sounds positive, but it's true. It's absolutely brilliant. Swansea did us a favour. And we got Coventry on Saturday, which I think I said when we beat them 3-1 earlier in the season, that I called it a hideous performance, if I quote White Sam.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
but apart from that, it's just going in our direction. And I'm going to sit here, and I think, at this time of saying, we're going back to the Premier League. It might be too soon. But I just think we got the group of players that actually want to fight. Philip Bellin, I text you off air, Sam. It was just amazing. So I don't know if he's watched the show or whatever, but he's just turned into this magician. He's absolutely sensational. And he's never going to be our best player ever in the world. But right now, I think he must be almost up there with the most goals, apart from maybe Junior.
Well, it's funny how a player can just play in a different position and be completely different. I mean, people were starting their engines for him like not so long ago, and now all of a sudden, but playing him in a better position seems to be, favouring him. He seems to be enjoying it a lot more, and it makes a difference when you're enjoying your football. And he seems to be at the moment. I've got to say, Morgan, shall I spare your arm from holding your phone for too much longer?
Yeah. Can I just say one final point?
Yeah, go on.
And then I can let you get on with the rest of the show. But it's a pleasure to always come on, and we'll catch up for the face-off on Wednesday, I believe. So, looking forward to that one. But, just thanks. I've got football tomorrow. I don't want to not be able to run with my arms. But, in terms of today's game, I think the analyst of the game, I would go towards, or I think the spirit, and I think I said this a few episodes ago, anything is possible. And, if you stay together, and I think Cookie did a little huddle for the second goal. I think if you do that in football, you achieve good things. And I just think it's so much better than when we sat here midway through the season and we were having a go at everyone and we were all angry and all this frustration, and now on this bank holiday sunny weekend We have got 6 points. We're going back to the Premier League, and I don't need to say any more than that. And I'm going to get a hat trick tomorrow, so it's all good. Thanks for having me back.
Are you a different person? Thanks, Morgan. Appreciate it.
Well,
Cheers
I
again.
get a haircut, so by the time
I was going to say it's the hair. It's definitely
yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be.
Thank you.
Nice one. Cheers, Morgan. And we're going to bring in Dan, aka Jeron, in the background. All right, mate. How are you?
I'm very good. Very, very good. How are you?
Yeah, very, very good. Right then, Kirk. Then, right, let's come to you. Analyze that performance then, because I don't think it was quite thirds, but we certainly seemed to hit a sticky patch both towards the end of the first half and for the bulk of the second.
Yeah, just after we scored. But when Phil Billings scores, the Cherries only win. That statistic is 6 goals, 6 wins, and 5 of those goals are the first goal in a game. So he's pivotal to our running as we go into that. A player that's in form, loves the freedom. And actually, before we scored, I thought his work rate, I was critical of him in last year. I thought he didn't do enough running. I thought he didn't do enough hustling. And he was the one that was, giving us the press. He was on the floor. He was sliding into challenges. He was picking up pockets. And I never thought I'd speak so many weeks positively about Philip Billing. But he is in top form. He's got a smile on his face, and it's good to see. Not a great game overall for us. But if you win the football match when you're playing badly, they say that's not a bad thing. So I think Danjuma came alive, got the goal that we needed just to give us that space, because it felt a little bit like Borough at one point. You thought, could they nick a goal here? And actually, Armstrong had a good chance that came off the back of Carter Vickers at 1-0. So delicately balanced, but we got the 3 points. And you can see why Blackburn are sort of in 1 in 14 now, 1 win in 14 and 9 goals in 14. And Armstrong still sitting on 19 since 17th of February. So, yeah, we played them at the right time.
Yeah, it's funny how their season's gone, because at the start of the season, we won 3-2 and it was a bit of a sort of yo-yo game. But then after the next few matches, we all thought, actually, that was a good result, because they were smashing teams and doing really well. Now, Kirk Dom Solanke, we, of course, spoke about that stat of scoring in back-to-back goals. But today, it didn't look likely he was ever going to score. What was so different today? Because he looked so lonely up there.
I backed him as well, didn't I, today? I actually felt it. But no, he just didn't get the service. I thought the front three weren't that brilliant, to be honest with you. I thought Brooks had pockets of moments, maybe a shout for a penalty. Was it? Not sure. Maybe just outside. Yeah. But no, he never really got a good chance in the game, did he, Dom? And I don't know what it is. He just can't get this stat off his back. And I hope he does it, because I'm bored of saying it. But he's a great player. And as I said, he won't get 20. I've said that all season, but he will add a few more goals between now and the run-in and the playoffs, hopefully. But just nothing really landed for him today. But luckily we had Danjuma and Billing, so we got the win.
But Danjuma improved his work defensively today, so maybe that's why. Because often he just chucks himself forward, and it sort of naturally is that partner for Dom Solanke up top. But today his work rate was much more, and he seemed to pick and choose the moments where he did get forward, and when he did, he popped up. So maybe that could be a reason, because Kelly was less exposed than what Rico was against Borough.
Yeah, and I don't want to spin a negative on this, because I thought Danjuma did a lot of work going backwards today, which we've always been critical of. And when he's on the ball in areas that don't hurt teams, he struggles sometimes. But the only negative I'd put in this potentially long term, and when I'm talking maybe if we go up or next season, is I do look at Danjuma and Philip Billing as luxury players. Philip Billing can't play in many formations. This is working for him. But when you've got those types of players, it's bad enough having one. But if you've now got 2, that is a detriment potentially to other players in your squad, because you think, well, I can't play that formation because I've got to get Billing in, and I can't play that formation because I've got to get Danjuma in. We've had this conversation about how can we get 2 strikers up top but still play Danjuma? We can't. And this is the problem, is long term, we may have an issue with these types of players. But while it's working at the moment, you don't change it. And we need to just keep doing what we're doing. But I don't know if the others agree with that. But long term, I worry about Billing and Danjuma doing this over a long period of, in large spells.
Yeah, agreed. Dan, nice to see you on here. By the way, thanks very much for the mention of both back of the net,
No
and also
worries.
Kirk's channel on your recent video. I thought it was excellently said, well worded, and you come out of it well. Obviously, you're here today. You've got a smile on your face. 2-0 win for Bournemouth. The sun is smiling. Everything's all good.
Yeah, no, great result. It's a while since we felt this, I guess, positive and optimistic about Bournemouth. I think that if we look at the performance, it's not one of our best, definitely, and there's been a few times this season where we've won and not played too well, and that's because we have so much quality in our team. And we have players like Danjuma and Billing, who's in incredible form at the moment. I think that after we scored that first one, I felt there was a lot of pressure on us. I think that it could have quite easily. I was like, I could see them scoring here. We really need a second here. I think we got lucky. Some great defending from both Cook and Carter Vickers there. I think they've been really, really good in recent weeks. Thought the fullbacks did reasonably well, keeping it, especially Kelly. I'm not sure him bringing the ball out was, on the ball, he wasn't as great, but defensively, I think he did really well to deal with Harvey Elliott. I was so happy with that last goal. But it's a good job we did get it. And what a crazy end to the game, that penalty. I mean, admittedly, I don't think it was a great penalty. When the keeper saves it with his legs, you think it's usually not a great penalty in my eyes. And then that great goal line clearance. But I was thinking about Swansea because they've lost now, and we think they've got a run of doing than us. They've got 4 losses in a row now. And I'm thinking, you look at it, if we do manage to get playoffs, if we come into this playoffs in good form versus a team that's had a drop-off and come out of the automatics, I think that could be the best thing for us. I think that if we were in Swansea's position and we just dropped out, I feel like we might... There's been a history of teams that have just dropped out and not done well in the playoffs. So I think that this could be an advantage going into the playoffs with hopefully some decent form. So I'm feeling really optimistic going into these final few games and hopefully the playoffs.
So this is the league table at the moment, which we will take a look at, and that's where it is. We flashed it on screen earlier, but we're currently sitting on 65 there. The form hasn't updated yet on the right hand side, but I mean, you can see whereabouts we're at, and Kurt, you're looking at that now and you're thinking, whereabouts can we finish?
Well, I said that Swansea are deceiving the league for a month or so now. They're not great. I think they're one of the worst teams that we've played in this season, and we took 4 off them. We should have taken 6. Reading won't make the playoffs. I'm telling you that now. I think Barnsley will pick up enough points with the run-in they've got, and Swansea need to pick up about 6. Now, they should have picked them. Probably would have fancied themselves to pick them up against on Friday against, I think it was Wycombe. Did they play? No, it was Blackburn that played Wycombe. But Swansea probably fancied themselves to pick up 6 now. And obviously they lost today against Preston. But I'm going to stick with it. I think we could probably end up picking up about 4th at this rate. But I still think it'll be Brentford, Bournemouth, Swansea and Barnsley in whatever order you want it. And to be honest with you, I fancy all of them over 2 legs and 1 playoff final.
So Coventry next then, John, and they put in a shift today. They beat Bristol City quite convincingly. Right side was a bit of an issue today, I think. Now, if you've got a fit Junior Stanislas and a fit David Brooks, what are you doing and who are you choosing?
Oh, thanks for lumping that one with me, Sam.
No problem.
Well, the difficulty is that it's exactly like Kirk said, the issue of having essentially 2 luxury players in Billing taking the 10 spot and Danjuma taking the left wing spot. You've only got 1 spot left for Brooks or Stanislas on the right. And now, if both are fit, I take Brooks because firstly, Brooks is just more naturally going to take that right-sided position. He's going to do on the right what Danjuma does on the left, whereas Stanislas doesn't really. Stanislas is actually probably, I would say, from open play, is probably the best crosser we've got in our team. I think he's shown in the Premier League how good he is at crossing from open play. From dead balls, he's ironically worse. But he doesn't play that right-sided cross the ball in position, and we don't play to that style. We don't have, as much as Solanke could play as this focal point of a striker that gets the head on it in a box, he doesn't really play that game. We don't play that game. It doesn't suit us. Not right now, anyway. So I would take Brooks, and I think what was encouraging for me about whether the fact that Brooks wasn't on the ball too much, he only pulled together 2 or 3 like really nice touches, like in the build-up to the first goal. He did put himself all over the place. I don't know what his heat map looks like, but the amount of time he turned up at like left wing back to try and get the ball, just showed that at least he's hungry to get back in, to get on the ball and make something happen. He really wants to be involved. Now, it's not as though Stanislas doesn't do that as well, but having that left footer on the right is a preferable situation, I feel. And if we go up, we certainly want Brooks to be getting back into form, getting those games in, getting that time in his legs. If we don't go up, we want him to do well so that he gets more money when we sell him, because he's not going to be around if we're still in the Championship next season. So, I think it would be harsh on Stanislas to drop him when Brooks is fit. But unless you found Billing or Danjuma suddenly taking a dip in form and taking one of them out, because Stanislas could play anywhere across that front three, that sort of second three. I would put Brooks in at the moment. But yeah, it'd be harsh on Junior, I feel.
Kirk, what are your thoughts? Brooks or Stanislas?
I think if Brooks keeps playing the way he is, I think he'll remain a Bournemouth player into his contract in 2024. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I do sort of agree with John in a sense that football's now moved to having a less-sided player on a right side, etc., and he would give you that balance. I always think Stanislas is better on the left, but you don't drop Danjuma because he can win you a football match in any moment. But Stanislas does have 12 goals and he's and he's some assists as well, and he's given us his best return ever at the club. It is a difficult one. I probably would just nudge Stanislas, I think, but I'd want Brooks to turn up at some part of this run-in because he has the quality. I just think he can be frustrating sometimes. I just want him to do the basics a little bit better. I just want him to keep possession instead of trying to nutmeg someone and create a mean. Do you know what I mean? So, but we know Brooksy's got it. It's just whether he can stay fit and whether he can get back to his best game. But I probably would nudge Stanislas, but I get where John's coming from. It's not, Stanislas is better on the left for me.
And I'll ask the same question to you, Dan, because Stanislas always pops up with a goal sort of every so often, though, doesn't he? And in a game like today, had we not scored the second, conceding that penalty in the last minute, and then we had 6 minutes of injury time. So had they scored that, there'd have been about another 4 or 5 left or whatever, and that that would have been squeaky bum time. I'm just glad that we did get the second, and even even at the 2-1, it's quite dangerous because we've always got that defensive mistake in us. So has Brooks scored this season? I'm not even sure. I think maybe a couple.
Yeah, he scored against Huddersfield, didn't he? He scored a few. It is a really tough one because it's so frustrating knowing the quality Brooks has and he's not performing, especially during that run of games where we just couldn't win a football match. He just couldn't do any of the basics right. You think, how is this guy being linked £50 million moves? It's ridiculous. But he literally couldn't do the basics right. And it's so frustrating because we know how much talent he has. But and obviously, I think coming back from injury as well, it's going to take him a little bit of time to get that form back. And you're not dropping Danjuma and you're not dropping Billing when they're in such good form. It just doesn't happen. And I do agree with John in terms of the system-wise. I think Brooks suits the system a bit better. But saying that, when you've got Brooks that isn't playing that great, and Stanislas, he's had some bad games, had some good games, but he's still scored a lot of goals for us this season. And I think that he's performed better over the course of the season than Brooks. And he's performed, the amount of times I've gone with Brooks, even today where we were that counter-attack to kill the game, and he couldn't read, in that little simple pass to Billing, he just couldn't quite get it right. And we messed it up. It's just little things like that that are just so frustrating. And I just think that Stanislas would be doing a lot better. And I don't know what's going on with corners and free kicks and stuff like that, but Stanislas should be our man with that. You'd argue should be our best dead ball taker, but it's such a tough one. But I think just based on form, you go Stanislas personally for me. I think Brooks hasn't shown enough quality this season, but hopefully he can get some form back. And if he is back to his best, then he starts for me every time.
Absolutely. Okay, Dan, thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate it, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Take care. John, cheers, buddy. Thanks very much for
no problem.
Nice
cheers.
one. And I'll leave you on actually for the end of the show. So we got Daniel, a familiar face on Kirk's channel, and also Back of the Net. But you didn't see the game today because you were at school, weren't you, Daniel? But you must have been delighted to see that we won 2-0.
Yeah. So John let me he was sharing the game with me. so I saw it.
Mm.
I was
Oh, amazing.
I was kind of disappointed the way we played. I feel like we were playing awful, and I don't know. I feel like Brooksy was also not playing as well. Really, not that best. So I was kind of like disappointed how we played, and it was super nerve-wracking because you could tell if Blackburn scored, I feel like the game would have been over. And the best moment had to be the penalty save, even though you can see it was going to be saved because you can tell where it was going. I feel like that was one of our best things we did the whole game. I wasn't really impressed, but a win is a win.
Yeah, it is. And Kirk, I was just saying earlier that maybe that clearance off the line from Steve Cook, maybe that penalty save, perhaps it will instill that fight, just like that fight did at the end of the Watford game, because we need a bit of that, fist pumping action, don't we? And maybe that's the thing that will carry us to 3 points against a very good Coventry side who beat Bristol City today.
And they always say that it turns a corner and every team gets a run. The good, the bad and the excellent was that whole penalty situation. The Begovic save, the ball came back in. Begovic decides to go for a wander like a lot of goalkeepers in the Championship, and really was a bad decision. But fortunately, Cookie, sort of dug him out, didn't he, and got on the line and cleared it off the line. I thought Cookie and Carter Vickers, again, were massive today, and they're going to be huge going into the last 7 games. And Begovic, 15th clean sheet of the season. What a goal he's turned out to be, because I don't think anyone can probably claim that they saw this season coming from Begovic. But yeah, it's a bit of luck on our side. We've been asking for this for quite a while, and as I said, we're putting wins together, which is what we haven't done since about October time. So good. I mean, weren't brilliant from a performance point of view, but we're getting the wins and we're getting the points, and ultimately it's a business, and when you do that, that's what matters.
Brilliant. Kurt, cheers for coming on. Appreciate it.
Good. See you soon.
See you soon. Thanks very much. And also, Daniel, predictions for Coventry on next Saturday. Have you got a scoreline for us?
I'm gonna say it's going to be 2-0. Dominic Solanke will score, and then he will finally beat his record of scoring 2 in a row, because he's going to score today and the next game.
There you go. Daniel, thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Top man. That's Daniel there in Florida. Thanks very much to everyone who has been on chat today. Really appreciate it. All the super chats. Lovely stuff. All your messages on super chat. They will guarantee your messages get on screen. But also what that means is you're supporting the channel as well, which you can also do, by the way, by buying us a coffee. So at the top of the screen, you can see afcbpodcast.com/coffee. If you want to support us, you can do that. And remember, please like and subscribe as well. Much appreciated. Really good to see that we have got 3 in a row. Can we make it 4? Be interesting. We've got preview material and a load of content in the week. So yeah, subscribe to the channel. See you later.